Each year during the summer, there's always a lot of blockbusters released, and they often do well because, you know, it's the summer. Everyone's off from schools, a lot of people get holidays off for work, and people are trying to find ways to enjoy the nice weather. And to me, there's no better way to enjoy that weather than to go into a hot fucking room with a bunch of other people and watch a movie. Now, obviously, there's a movie that defines the summer each year. Last year, there was Barbie and Oppenheimer, an event that I have been trying to fit into a video somehow, although this is the only time I'm probably going to mention it. 2022, we had Top Gun Maverick, which, again, another fantastic film, which drew people in during the summer and a lot of people found to enjoy. And then in 2021, well, we're not going to talk about 2021 because in my humble opinion, it should have been The Suicide Squad. It should have done so much better, but all of these films did significantly better than it, and I don't think many of them are very great. Or maybe it should have been old. I fucking love old. Now, this summer is no different. We've had a couple blockbusters that have come out, and realistically, if you're thinking of film of the summer, probably the first two that pop in your mind are these two, because they made the most amount of money. Deadpool is on track to probably hit $1 billion pretty soon, and Inside Out 2, I didn't even realize made as much money as it has made. It's kind of bizarre, but I mean, clearly Pixar still have an audience, and by an audience, I mean people will love to go and watch a sequel to something that they loved 10 years ago. But to me, neither of these are the film of the summer. Keep in mind, I haven't seen one of them, but I saw something very recently, and it's doing well, but also I think it should be doing a lot better and a lot more people should be going to see it. So for me, my film of the summer is I've only just realized this now that I didn't mention Furiosa or anything that came out in like May in this video. Obviously my film of the summer would be Furiosa, but I'm kind of just counting it from like June to August. Plus, I made a video about Furiosa and no one watched it, so. Now, Twisters is directed by Lee Isaac Chung and follows a group of tornado chasers in Oklahoma as they experiment with new technology to try and work out how tornadoes spawn and how to tame them. It has quite a brilliant cast, if I'm being completely honest, and it left me pretty chuffed with watching it. I thought it was brilliant. Now, obviously, this is a direct sequel to... Oh, wow, I didn't realize that's so hypocritical, the Inside Out thing I said, because this... It doesn't matter. Now, obviously, this is a direct sequel to the 1996 film Twister, which Spielberg produced, I think. I don't remember who directed it. And I will happily admit I'm not a huge fan of that film. I think it's very lackluster and a little bit too long, but it's still got some highlights in it. It's fun. It's a popcorn movie, and so is Twisters. I think the best way to cover this is to just discuss some of the things that I think work very well for this film and, you know, advise people to go and watch it. The cast, obviously Daisy Edgar-Jones from Normal People, she's in it. She plays the leading actress, plays Kate, who goes through a tragedy, basically finds herself back in the world of tornado chasing, and I think she's brilliant in this, as is Mr. Glenn Powell and Anthony Ramos. I am a huge Glenn Powell fan. I think this year really has been quite perfect for him, with Anyone But You coming out at the end of last year and blowing up earlier this year, and Hitman as well. I think he's very much just someone to be looking out for. I know he's been in the business for years, but it's very clear that he is a leading man. He is so charismatic, and really he just steals every scene he's in. Same with Ramos. I've seen him in a few things and I've always been a big fan of him. I don't think he's one of my favorites, but you know, the man can do a pretty good job. For me though, the star of the show to some extent that steals every scene is Brandon Pereira. Most notably, he was in Nope, but geez, he just really, every scene in this, he just takes it and he makes it his own. He's so funny and really can just transform into characters so well. So his portrayal as Boone is brilliant. Going to see the film alone for the performances is worth it because none of them let you down. As much as they're in a popcorn movie, they deliver. I have seen people say it's basically just Twister, but modernized. I mean, that is kind of true, but I don't know. I think just with the evolution of how special effects and stuff like that has gone over the years and has evolved, it works so much better here because it makes the tornadoes feel so much more real and threatening, but also kind of holds a little bit of interest. You can see why these characters are so invested in chasing them. And that for me is one of the highlights as well, just how big and epic those scenes are with the tornadoes. I didn't see this in 4DX. I'm very disappointed I didn't. I don't know what I was thinking. I should have. I would recommend Twisters is still playing in 4DX near you. Go and see it because so worth it for that. I say the way the film is shot as well is pretty great. As much as it is this big epic movie, it still holds grounds. Lee Isaac Chung, who obviously directed Minari a couple years ago, he's shown that he is very talented in picking his DPs. He has Dan Medell working on this, which is quite funny when you look at Dan's past work, doing stuff like Pacific Rim Uprising, Cloverfield Paradox, Zoolander 2, The Force Awakens, The Rise of Skywalker, a fan favourite. As much as you might not enjoy some of those films, they still feel brilliant on this very great scale whilst still looking good. And that's no different with Twisters. The film looks brilliant. Each scene in those Oklahoma farms and small towns where places are getting absolutely destroyed, they look so humane. As much as there is a focus on the tornadoes, the film is still bringing down to focus on the characters in those towns. There's one specific bit that involves a pool. If you've seen the film, you probably know of it. But that to me is just like one of the best scenes of the film. It's so down to earth. Final thing to note is the music in the film. I had a friend that watched this before me and said that they really enjoyed it. One thing they couldn't stand was the music. Now, I will put it out in the open, I'm not a big fan of country music at all, but in the environment of Twisters that is set in Oklahoma, the music for me works quite well. I wouldn't go out of my way to listen to any of these songs on my own accord, but in the context of the film, I think they fit in perfectly. I understand they made a whole album for this film, which is a lot of films seem to be doing stuff like that now, especially stuff like I Saw the TV Glow, which to me has a brilliant album that accompanies it. And obviously Donald Glover is doing something similar with Bando Stone whenever the fuck that comes out. But you know, it's music I wouldn't normally like, but in the context of it being in little old Oklahoma, it works pretty well. So I'll give it that. That's kind of my full thoughts on Twisters. I think for me, a summer movie has to be something that delivers in experiences that you'll remember. It feels big and grand and epic. You can go see it with friends and you don't really have to pay too much attention to it. Obviously watch the film, you're not going to sit there and pull your phone out in the cinema, but you can just sit back, relax and watch a good movie. And for me, Twisters is that of this summer. Obviously if you have kids, maybe you want to go and see Inside Out as well, but you know what I say, screw that. Twisters is a 12A. Take those fucking kids to go see tornadoes, baby. Fuck those dumb little, I don't even know what they're called in Inside Out, but screw them. Go and see Twisters. And if you are going to see Twisters based on this recommendation, or you planned on doing it beforehand, I highly recommend seeing it in 40x. Seems to be the way that this film is meant to be seen. The only thing I hate about myself more than how this film is performing this year is the fact that I didn't go and do that, because it deserves to be seen in such a crazy environment for such a crazy film, and it should be doing much better. Thank you for watching once again. I wanted to post this video last week actually, but considering all the hype that was going around Deadpool, I kind of thought that it'd be smarter to talk about that first. Clearly it didn't benefit me because that video did shit. Thank you for watching anyway, and if you watched that one too, then I appreciate it. If you haven't, then go back, watch some of my older videos as well. And yeah, let me know what you thought about Twisters if you've seen it, if you're planning on going to see it, if you loved it, you hated it, just let me know, I'm curious. So yeah, look out for that next video on Friday, and yeah, see ya.